Hi, we're not at the Rectory today. There's nothing of any interest going on there at the moment. So instead, we thought we'd show you our previous renovation project, which is our current house that we live in. So come on in. So you're in our entrance hallway at the moment, and a few years ago, this room was decorated in the middle of COVID, like an off-white colour with an olive green kind of feature wall there. And anyway, about 18 months ago, I decided I was super busy, super overwhelmed, and I randomly got the urge to repaint the whole thing. So I think this is a colour called Breakfast Room Green, and it's just like a soft, greeny turquoise kind of colour. And then obviously we've got our table here, and we kind of decorate it seasonally, and with it being February, there's just kind of random stuff on there. This jar, which rarely has anything in it, but I really like it. And then Charlie got me these flowers a few weeks ago for my birthday, and I was on the verge of throwing them out the other day because they have gone over a bit, as you can see. But I just thought they looked so beautiful in their kind of faded colours, and they go really nicely with the walls. So I promise I'm not some kind of hoarder. I will throw them away at some point, but for now, I actually quite like the faded look. About a year ago, actually probably longer than a year now, we had these cupboards put in to house the boiler a little bit more neatly, and also just to house all of our shoes, all of our dog walking bits. I don't know if anyone else finds this, but if you have a dog, their stuff just seems to spread from every single room of the house. But yeah, that's where all our main kind of shoes live. As you can imagine, before we had this cupboard, it was a bit more messy in here, so it's really nice having that. So if we head off to the right now and into what I affectionately call the futility room, and when you see the size of this room, you'll understand why I call it that, because it is tiny. But actually, it's probably my favourite room in the house, as sad as that sounds, because even though it's small, it kind of houses everything we need. Everything kind of has a place and squeezes in somewhere. And then not that long ago, probably about a year ago, I repainted the walls before they were just in a kind of off-white colour. This kind of yellowy, kind of muted orangey colour. I think the colour's called Orangery. And I just love it. It's like, that paint is just like sunshine in a tin, and it's just made it feel so much brighter and kind of cheerier in here. And then 3 days after I repainted it, and I was admiring how beautiful it looked, this pipe here had a leak. So there was literally water exploding up out of the pipe, hitting the ceiling. The whole room got absolutely soaked, and I was devastated. But it's testament to just how tough and durable this paint is, because we frantically dried it all down and the paintwork has survived and it looks fine. I can see like one little place up there where there's a little bit of a watermark, but other than that, it survived. And I think if there's one thing I could take with us from this house when we move, it's this light fitting, because I absolutely love it. It's kind of like a fluted copper pendant light, and I've looked online, but I can't find anything similar. I think we got it from Pookie, and they seem to have discontinued it now. So, but anyway, I'll show you our tiny downstairs loo or powder room with its very squeaky door. So this room, I had a sudden rush of wanting to redecorate something, even though I really didn't have time. So I wallpapered this room. The paint we had before, it was just a kind of off-white colour, and I wanted something a bit more colourful and a bit more patterned. And Charlie agreed, he was kind of up for it as well. So I took the colour from the utility room, that orangery colour, and I took it up onto the ceiling, and then I hung this wallpaper. I actually wallpapered this room myself, and which nearly drove me insane because I thought I could knock this out in like a day, and instead it took the best part of a week. I had to go away, and probably longer than that, yeah. I had to go away and order more wallpaper because I ran out. I vastly underestimated how long it would take me to do this, because even though it's such a teeny tiny room, there's kind of obstacles everywhere to trim around. But I got there, and even though, yeah, I can see some imperfections and mistakes that I made with it, I'm still quite proud of this room. I think it looks okay overall, and it was my first wallpapering job that I'd done. So just learning myself from kind of YouTube tutorials and stuff like that. This kind of apothecary cabinet thing actually came with the house. So I think we just stained it and varnished it. And this cupboard just houses all our kind of first aidy bits, medicines, lotions, potions. I got this little ginger jar at a charity shop, and I just kind of like how it kind of clashes with the wallpaper, but fits in with it at the same time because of the florals. So yeah, I really like this room. This mirror, I can't even remember where we got this mirror from. We've had it for ages, and it was just living upstairs in the spare room, and I just thought it would be perfect for in here because it goes really nicely with that wallpaper. This is probably one of the earliest rooms that we decorated. So we had the entire kitchen replaced. We didn't have a huge amount of money at the time, so I seem to recall we lived for a long time with no kitchen, just a cooker in the middle of the room, and that was our kitchen, basically. Everything we did on there, we didn't have any worktops, no cupboards, nothing, not even like a dresser or anything. And then eventually we kind of saved up, and between taking the old one out, we had the new one put in, and we wanted to keep it quite neutral in here. So we went with these just kind of oak cabinet fronts with the white handles and the kind of brushed brass look and the white countertop, which I really like. And this kitchen, even though it's over 10 years old now, isn't it? It stood the test of time really well. In fact, most of it kind of looks the same as it did when it was put in new. So I'm actually tempted to go for, I think the brand is called Crown Imperial Kitchens, and we're quite tempted to go for those again because they've held up so long, and they're easy to clean, they're easy to wipe, we don't have to be too precious about them. The only small mishap was our previous dog Muttley did scratch this drawer front. I think there was a mouse behind there that he was trying to get at, and I never did quite get round to having that replaced. So, but yeah, all quite neutral in here, apart from the oven surround, which it's a colour called arsenic, so it's quite a bright, acidy kind of turquoise. And originally there was just a very small sideboard thing here, and it was just not nearly big enough to kind of house all of our stuff. So we replaced it with this, and we got it custom painted in the same colour as the cooker surround, the arsenic colour. So that's nice. I think if we were to design this kitchen again today, the main thing we would probably do, I'm sure Charlie would agree with this, is more worktop space, much more worktop space, and probably some kind of built-in island or unit here, maybe a bit bigger than this. Yeah, this is kind of freestanding. We just got it down the road to house some of our kind of appliances and cookware and stuff like that. Yeah, and then we've got lots of open shelving in here. These shelves came with the house. We just literally cleaned them. I think I put some wax on them. I don't think I even properly, I might have stained them. But yeah, that's it. So yeah, what else can I say about the kitchen? Oh, I think one of my favourite things in here is this salt pig. For some reason, I wanted one of these that maybe was like a big kind of colourful fish or a frog or something like that. And then we found this one in Mexico and I was like, that's perfect. We'll have that. So this is our dining room, and it's no exaggeration when I say we have repainted and decorated this room probably 4 or 5 times now. The first time, all the same colour, I might add. The first time we painted and decorated it, shortly afterwards a pipe burst above the ceiling. So that was that. We had to have it replastered, repainted. And then I believe we had some other kind of leak or damp problem. And then something else happened. I can't remember. I completely lose track with this room. I'm sure this room has just been cursed. And then somewhere down the line, I decided to put up this wallpaper, which I really love because it just goes so nicely with the colour of the walls. I must admit, I didn't do that wallpapering. We had a professional painter and decorator come in and do it. Because this wall, you probably can't tell, but it's so uneven and awkwardly shaped that I just didn't even dare do it. But the painter and decorator, who a friend recommended to me and apparently had really discerning taste in paint and wallpaper, he said how much he loved this wallpaper and how well he thought it went with the colour of the walls. So we thought, oh, that's good enough for us. I think it's by a designer called Clarissa Holt. I think she's a UK-based designer, and she does really beautiful wallpapers and fabrics and things like that, all based on botanicals. So this is a ferny one, which is quite nice because we always keep a fern in this room. This room gets kind of damp, and so ferns seem to quite like it in here. Also, I don't know when this happened, but somewhere along the line we developed a slight zebra theme in here. So we had a Sophie Allport zebra table runner that doesn't currently live in here at the moment, but I loved it so much that I purchased the fabric of it and I made this Roman blind for in here, which I'm actually quite proud of because anyone who knows me knows that I can't sew to save my life. I can't knit, I can't sew. I'm just hopeless. I don't have the aptitude for it. I'd love to be able to sew more, but I really, really tried, and with lots of sewing tutorials and a lot of time and patience and many, many evenings spent on my sewing machine, I did manage to make this Roman blind. And I think it turned out okay. I'm sure the stitching isn't perfect, but I like it. I think it goes really well in this room. And then in a similar vein, my mum's a wildlife photographer and she did these prints for us of these zebra. There's actually 2 of them. So there's one here and another one over here. So yeah, she did those for us. And because the zebra in the fabric have these kind of saffron yellow coloured tufty tails, I got a mount made in the same kind of colour, and then like a frame in a burnt copper kind of colour, which is like the ferns on the wallpaper. And then this Spode Italian Blue service we were given by Charlie's parents, which was really lucky because we absolutely love it. They were, I think, replacing all of their dinnerware, so they asked if we'd like it. And we said, yes, please. And we got it. And I actually have an entire box of Spode things in the garage. This isn't even the full set, but this is the stuff we have out for the space we have at the moment. This little cat jug is Delft. That came from Amsterdam when we were there. And I love it. And then because we don't have the biggest kitchen in the world, our coffee machine lives here. Obviously it's a massive coffee machine, so we kind of have our coffee station set up here. And again, with the blue and the white that we kind of have in here, that's a bit of a theme now. We were kind of trialing the idea of a coffee machine. So I think this was a secondhand find on eBay, but it's been so good. I think in the future if this packs up, we'll probably buy the same one, but maybe treat ourselves to a new one because we know it's good now. Oh, Charlie's really into his jigsaw puzzles, so we have a bit of a puzzle on the go. I believe this one is Spooky Arcade. And then we have these ceramic kind of pumpkin shaped pots. They were a secondhand find. Yeah, I have a bit of an obsession with pumpkins and pumpkin shaped things. I don't really collect anything, but if I did, then I think it would probably be kind of pumpkin ceramics and pumpkin stuff. So come on through to our inner hallway. So our favourite thing in this room is obviously the rocking horse. Everyone thinks it's vintage or antique, but actually Charlie's granddad made it. He was a really talented woodworker, and Charlie's parents had had this for a long time, and obviously when they asked if we'd like it in our house, we jumped at the chance and said yes please. And it's probably one of the few things in this house that we'd kind of really grapple to save if there was a fire, because it's just so lovely. And I love it in front of the window here. It's got pride of place. And of course we've got another pumpkin. And then the shelves just here. I don't know if anyone remembers this book, but I had this book long before the Escape to the Chateau was a thing. And yeah, I love that book. Another wedding photo, and these little mouse rats that Charlie got me. They're like needle felted and they're so cute. I love the autumn one especially. So yeah, that's our hallway. And then this little table here, again, Charlie's granddad made. It's so talented. I can't even begin to... Of course, we have a massive collection of dog toys. This photo is another one by my mother, and it's probably one of my favourites. I kind of just happened to see this on her Facebook, and to me it just looks like high fashion kind of magazine editorial or something like that. I think you can only kind of capture a picture like that when someone doesn't really know that they're being photographed. And I just love it. I love the colours. So yeah, I asked her for a print of it and she kindly did one for me. Going through into this little room at the back, which Charlie uses as his study. So we decorated this room probably a few years ago now. I think it was shortly before I started uni. And this colour on the walls here took me about 7 coats before it looked nice. So I don't think I'd use it again. It was quite a flat matte kind of traditional emulsion, and it kind of shows every single mark. It doesn't look right if you try and touch it up. It took many, many coats to make it look nice. So I don't think I'd use it again, but it does look nice for the most part. And then Charlie's obviously got some bits and bobs up here, his kind of electronic stuff, keyboard. That doesn't get used very often. maybe it will more once we finish the renovation, but. And then we got some pictures on the wall. This one I actually painted for Charlie because I just wanted to bring out more of the colours in the room and add some cinnamony kind of coloured accents to it. So I just did this geometric thing. And, oh, sorry, Cole. I've just nearly stepped on Cole's paw. And then this picture here I found at an online antique shop. And it reminded me of the Rectory. It was not long after we'd purchased the Rectory at auction, and it was our wedding anniversary. We don't normally really bother with cards or presents for our wedding anniversary, but I thought this year I'm going to. And yeah, that picture, I know it's not exact, but it just kind of reminded me of the Rectory. So I thought, yeah, I'll buy that, and I had it mounted and framed, and yeah, I think that's quite nice. It'll be something nice to take with us when we move. And then Charlie, obviously where Charlie works in tech and he works from home a lot, he obviously has his desk set up, which he needs. And oh, I got him this pen, see, Charlie. I think it's called a brush pot, but obviously we keep pens in it rather than brushes for his pens. Charlie obviously has the world's biggest computer monitor because, yeah, he does so much work from home. And then some other bits. Believe it or not, this is this room looking quite tidy at the moment. Oh, and the guitar's on the wall because Charlie does sometimes dabble in a bit of guitar playing. Okay, so let's go on through to the living room. So this was probably one of the first rooms we decorated, and we did it just again in an off-white. And a few years ago, I was kind of getting bored of all the kind of pale colours, and I thought it needed a bit more colour in here. So I didn't want to do like a feature wall. So instead we just did a bolt of this kind of muted burnt orange kind of colour. I think the colour's called Red Earth. And to get these lines straight, obviously I'm hopeless with stuff like that. So Charlie used like a special laser level to project the lines onto the wall. And then he did the masking tape for me. And then I just painted it. And luckily it worked because we ended up with these perfect straight lines. How often does that happen? And then this wall's a real mixture of stuff. Lots of bits from Mexico, and then just other bits like this. This picture we've acquired at some point, which I love. I feel like this wall's a bit of a celebration of the natural world. So in this case, we have a piece of wasp's nest that 2021 it was. So those wasps were living in our attic and terrorising us that summer and that autumn. But a while after they kind of naturally died off and left, we actually found their nest in the attic. It was huge. It was, no word of a lie, probably about 3 or 4 feet tall, maybe bigger. But I'm someone who's quite phobic of wasps. But even I had to kind of appreciate the beauty and the effort that had gone into this nest. If you kind of look closely, it might be hard to see on camera. You can kind of see all the different colours and striations from the different woods they've used from around here to make it. And I just thought it was beautiful. So we cut a piece off. Obviously all wasps firmly vacated by then. And then we just put it in this display case. And obviously it just rests on these coffee table books. And then obviously we have a little bit of a bar area. Not that we keep many drinks on it, mind. We should probably kind of expand our drinks horizons a bit and have a bit more variety on there. It's mostly glassware at the moment. These I bought quite recently, these champagne coupes, because I liked, again, the kind of orangey colour of the stems. And then I got these linen cocktail napkins made with our kind of initials on, monogrammed on them, embroidered on them. And yeah, I love them. So we had it in this kind of green pagoda design, which looks really beautiful. And then down here, we just have a collection of kind of souvenirs, again, from Mexico. Over here is just a small part of our plant collection. Obviously, we love plants, and this neon pothos doesn't look the happiest right now, but we'll see how it fares. It hasn't been in that spot for very long. And then just some daffodils that are going over. And then obviously we've got little Blossom sleeping in the middle. She's our cat. I think she's coming up to 11 years old. Not that she looks it. She still looks like a kitten really in some ways. This is the nicest cat in the world. She's just so sweet-natured. She's so nice. Yeah, she's just lovely. We adore her. And then I think that picture up behind the sofa, up above the sofa rather, I got from an antique shop. So yeah, I think it's hand painted on silk, and I just like that the colours kind of go with the other colours. And then we have a collection of kind of bits that we always keep on this ottoman. Someone told me that they got a bit of a kind of creepy haunted vibe from our attic at the Rectory, and they said that we should buy some sage and kind of sage out any bad energy. So I bought it. I'm not sure I believe in all that stuff. Never got round to using it. I bought one home here for some reason, but again, I don't feel like we have any bad energy or bad vibes here. This house has been really good to us. So for now, it just kind of lives in this pot. Again, that was another Mexico purchase. And then let me show you this book, which is my absolute favourite book in the entire world. So Charlie got me this for my birthday. I think it was last year. And it's called At Home in the English Countryside, Designers and Their Dogs. And it just kind of combines everything I love in the world, really. And then I know this is really unfashionable these days to have a massive telly on display, but I mean, we watch TV. We like TV. Charlie plays a bit of PlayStation. Hopefully, maybe in the Rectory, there's some kind of solution that we can come up with to disguise this a bit better. I've seen that people kind of have Samsung frames and things like that, but for now, it just lives in this corner. It's the only place for it. One of the things I'm probably the most proud of in this room is this light fixture. So me and Charlie actually made this from scratch. Before, we just had a tiny little lampshade there, and it just didn't look good. It needed something different. And I couldn't find a single light fixture that I liked for this room. In fact, no, I did find one that I really liked. And then I looked at the price tag and it was £6,000. So I thought, yeah, we're not having that. And then I just found this one online, which was very plain and grey and kind of industrial looking. But I didn't hate the shape of it. And it was £30. So I didn't mind the price of it. So I kind of completely re-sprayed it, and we took it apart, and then we got this kind of bright electric blue flex or cord or whatever you call it, cable. And then Charlie kind of put it all back together and wired it all back together. And I just think it looks fab. And it was really nice that this doesn't happen that often. Well, I suppose you could argue it has with the Rectory in a big way, but it's not often that me and Charlie get to kind of collaborate on a project like that. So yeah, that was really fun to make, and it looks so much nicer than what was there before. And then, of course, probably our favourite thing about this room is the wood burner, especially when it's February in the UK and freezing cold. So this room obviously is where we probably spend most of our time, and of an evening we're normally all four of us, Charlie, Blossom, Cole, our dog, and me are squished onto this sofa with the wood burner going, and yeah, it's just really nice. So we're upstairs now, and this upstairs landing is where we house most of our plant collection because it's the only window in this house that really receives that much light. And obviously this Pathiopedilum orchid at the moment is probably my favourite because it's flowering, which it hasn't done for a long time, which is quite exciting. And then we just have a whole kind of selection of plants. Obviously we're quite plant mad in this house. So Charlie made me this plant hanger and I'm really impressed with it. I think it took him less than a day, but it looks really professional and really good there. And if anything, I'd like more of them. Not quite sure when he's going to get time to do that. I'll take you into our bedroom now. So this is our main bedroom, and when we first moved in here, we had one tiny built-in wardrobe over in that corner and nothing else to store our clothes. And we don't have the world's biggest collection of clothes. We're not kind of clothes mad, but still, we needed more storage space for clothes. So we had these drawers, shelves, and larger wardrobe built in. This room is just a whole kind of mishmash of clashing colours. There's no kind of particular colour scheme in here. I love these Staffordshire fireside dogs because to me they're very quintessentially English. I got them from eBay and I don't see many of them in this kind of orangey colour, so I already know exactly where they're going in the Rectory. And then this ginger jar I got from a charity shop. I believe it cost me about £1. So this room does have a small bed in it, but it rarely gets used. People rarely stay in this room. So I mostly use it as kind of like my dressing room. So I've got my dressing table here. This poodle lamp is probably one of my favourite things in the house. And I'm really sad actually. I dearly love another one. I'd love to have a pair of them, but I don't think so it's by Abigail Ahern and I don't think she makes them anymore. So that's kind of sad, but obviously I'm glad I have that one. And then I would recommend to anyone, if you want an inexpensive and kind of space-saving way to store your clutch bags, just use a picture shelf. I mean, I don't have the world's biggest collection of clutch bags, but obviously it's just a really practical solution for storing those. So come on through to the bathroom now. So of all the rooms in this house, this bathroom's probably undergone the smallest transformation. All we've done in here is replace the floor and replace the shower. And then the walls, we just painted this kind of pink colour. I think the colour might be called calamine. And then with the bath, when we were moving it to replace the floor, I just painted the feet in the same colour. And then I think this was another Abigail Ahern item. It's just this vase and I just love the colours of it. I just thought they went really well with this room. Obviously where we kept the tiles, I quite like this kind of rusty kind of colour. So we've used that as a little bit of an accent. We have this candelabra thing and we don't light the candles on it because they will just drip everywhere because their little cups are so wonky. So this little section of the upstairs hallway is just complete dead space. We can't really fit anything there. So I've just used it as a bit of a laundry nook. In fact, I call it the laundry nook, where we just keep our laundry hamper and then our some of our laundry products, and we just sort the laundry there. And it's actually really useful for that. Anyway, I've probably rambled on for more than long enough now about this house. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll be back soon with more Rectory updates. Take care, bye.